FBA fees climbing, I'm losing my grip. Storage costs rising, they'll never let me skip. Refunds I'm eating, returns pile up too. Oh, Amazon, what else will you do? I look at my dashboard, my profits erased. My margins are gone, it's a slap in the face. Prime Day's a promise, but it's such a race. How much will I make if I'm replaced? It's a cruel, cruel number. Fees keep climbing, profits torn asunder. Oh, it's cruel. The sellers wonder how to survive when the margins go under. It's a cruel, cruel number. Every month it's something new to plunder. Oh, it's cruel. It's no wonder we're stuck in this game. The algorithm's stronger.
Yo, Amazon's back, and they got a new scheme. Reimbursement slashed, it's every seller's dream. They're digging deep, taking more from the pot. Let's break it all down, expose what they got. March 25, it's a policy drop. They say manufacturing costs, but we know it's a flop. Give us your cogs, they're demanding the price. But if you don't, they'll estimate nice. Nice for them, not for you. Watch your payout shrink. That comprehensive evil is a corporate wing. Lost in the warehouse, damaged on the floor. Now they pay you pennies, not a cent more. Fees on the rise, profits on the run. They don't lift a finger, but they pocket the fun. We're fair! They shout while they cut our shares. Amazon math, man, it's full of errors. Fees, taking our dough. They're stacking the deck, and it's sellers who owe. Reimbursement? Nah, they're taking us down, but we're still here, we don't mess around. Fees, straight to the top. Amazon's game, it'll never stop. Margins tight, but we keep the grind. Sellers unite, we're one of a kind.
I try to sell my product on Amazon, thought it'd be a breeze. But little did I know I'd be stuck with seller support disease. They never seem to solve my problems, just give me the runaround. I'm tired of waiting on hold. My patience is wearing thin, I'll never be found. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck. Can't get no satisfaction. I'm out of luck, out of luck, out of luck. You don't care about my business, just trying to make a buck. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck.
This one's for the sellers on the grind, getting left on red, wasting all their time. I hit up support, got an auto reply. Thanks for your patience, man, I wanna cry. Inventory lost, my margins are toast. Reps playing tag like the Casper the Ghost. They pass me around, it's a never-ending game. Nobody takes action, everybody shifts blame. My ASIN's down, I'm out of the race. They say they'll escalate, yo, what a disgrace. Amazon seller support, you're breaking my heart. No answers, no fixes, just tearing me apart. Hours in the queue, stuck in the dark. Amazon seller support, you're missing the mark.
Amazon game plan, that is the key. Seller central dashboard, that's where I be. Analyze the funnel, see what we lack, then we optimize. Sellers know it's a fact. I get it popping, you know that it's lit. Climbing the rankings, ain't no room to quit. I check the data, they notice the stats. I keep the method, that's how you adapt. Metrics are showing, you know it's our cap. Amazon sellers, it's time to react. I'm about that action, I do this with passion. I got them like, whoa, what is this? Huh, whoa.
I don't know, dude. I think everybody's just buying stuff based on reviews and badges or whatever. They don't even know who we are. These customers don't even know the name of my brand. But they keep clicking add to cart like it's part of the plan. They see that Amazon badge and think it's all grand. But yo, they don't even know the name of my brand.
Click, scroll, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell a day. Now listen up, I'm Steven Pope, Amazon guru, I'll help you cope. Step 1, get that that trademark stamped. Without brand registry, your Amazon cramped. Head to Seller Central, log in quick. Manage stores tab, yeah, that's the trick. Upload your logo, flex that style. You're about to make Jeff Bezos smile. Where pick a template, marquee or grid. Drop your tiles like a branding whiz. Hero image, big and bold. This store's gonna glitter like digital gold. Flex, grow, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell today. Yo. In the trenches of the Amazon game, trying to survive while it's driving me insane. Nobody warns you, they just claim it's passive income. Nah, it's pain. I'm sitting at a birthday, laughing, chilling, next to a newbie Amazon seller spilling. She's like, Prime so smooth, it's a killer. Then tried to sell, now she's stuck in a thriller. Finding products, yeah, that's the first grind. Scrolling Alibaba, losing my mind. Sample suck, manufacturers decline. I'm like, dang, how's anyone doing this fine? Ship it in, pay for the bubble wrap, but they ship glass bottles in padded crap. Now I got hot sauce leaks, refund stacked, customers pissed. Man, I'm under attack. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat. Trademark wars, brand registries a scam. They banned my brand, now I'm in a jam. Listings yanked, products ranked and tanked. Lost dogs in the catalog, my account shanked. Now let's talk ads, it's a rabbit hole. 1,000 hours deep, man, it's taking my soul. Weekly negations, bulk sheets for control. Excel's my new weapon, but it's taking its toll. SEO's no joke, keywords in the game. All text, A+ content, playing insane. Lifestyle shots, avatars for fame, but the CTR's low. All products look the same. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, from SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat.
Let's go to Mac School. To Mac School. Class is now in session with Professor Pope. They got the SAP, cause Professor Pope wrote the recipe. Helping Amazon sellers grow sales exponentially. Amazon's a jungle, but we map the strategy. Brand strategist playbook, it's a guide to victory. Troubleshooting catalogs, you know we got the answer key. Boosting all your rankings, turning sales into a legacy. SOB so deep, you'd think we studied at Mac School. Every step we follow leads to growth, yeah, it's a golden loop. Stuck on keywords, we'll find the ones that work the best. Using Helium 10, strike distance keywords past the test. Incremental indexing ensures the listing set to rise. From the back into the bullets, optimization hits the skies. Brand store creation, yeah, we make it shine and flow. A+ content design makes conversions overflow. Need your images on point, best practices in the plan. All text and photo rules ensure your visuals command. SEO meets PPC, it's balanced, every step aligned. We'll construct the MKLs that drive rankings over time. Budget caps and bid adjustments, no more wasted spending. Segmentation builds campaigns that sellers can defend. Got a hijacker, no problem, we'll file to take them down. Review request in action, 5-star ratings come around. Flat file updates, market share reports, it's all in reach. Professor Pope wrote the SOP so sellers learn and teach.
Meanwhile, my Amazon guys on the case, fixing up my problems at lightning pace. Ticket escalations, Mag's the boss. Even Amazon says we'll take the loss. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. They're supposed to be the pros, but they can't decode policies and tools from their own damn road. I'm paying fees, yet they bring me stress. But Mag turns my chaos into pure success. Seller support reps, they throwing shade, but then admit, yo, Mag will get you paid. Third-party agency taking the throne while Amazon fumbles in their own damn zone. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. So here's the truth, let's keep it real. Mag's the team with the pro-level skill. Amazon sellers, you know the vibe. When support says call Mag, they'll give you peace of mind. Amazon seller support, you can suck my image stack. Sucking is all you're good at anyway. Bezos, hit me up if you want to sell seller support. I'm buying. There's a Jace. Peace.
All right, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about pay-per-click advertising, and I was scared to do it all by myself, so I brought in my support blanket over here. No, I'm just kidding. I have John Erban, who's one of our brand directors, who has also got a lot of practical experience, just from a little bit of a different angle than I have. So we're going to tackle your issues today and answer your questions. So John, thank you for joining us here on this PPC AMA Ask Me Anything live stream.
Yes. Thank you very much, Kev. Real pleasure to be here. Always happy to be part of these shows. Yeah, let's hit it. Let's get deep into the PPC strategies. Ideally, we're going to be talking about what's going to be happening for this Prime Day Q4. I mean, there's a lot of material for this live Q&A.
Yes, and also just a side note, John is also a world-class salsa dancer. So, and I don't say that jokingly.
Tango.
Oh, tango. Sorry. So if you need any tango tips, this is your man. Just for the fun fact of it, tell everybody a little bit about that. I'm
a system engineer and a lot of things, and I left the corporate world like 20 years ago, and I dedicated most of my life to be a professional dancer, professional tango dancer. So I'm vice champion du monde, world champion in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 2011. So yeah, there's a lot of history. I've traveled all over the world, and what else? Dancing with the Stars in Bulgaria 2012, and yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All that.
So, any questions about dancing? This is your guy too. So we're going to be talking about PPC, and then we'll have a second layer if you want to throw in a dance question. So
definitely.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. I just threw John on the hot seat there, but I thought it'd be interesting because not every day do you get to have someone with this kind of knowledge. But besides the salsa dancing, tell everybody a little bit more about your role here at My Amazon Guy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a brand director here. I'm an Amazon guy. I've been in the space already for more than 10 years, and I'm an Amazon seller myself. Was a one-man band, for the Amazon ecosystem for a lot of time. So you get to know a lot. And then when I started here at the agency, I have been working with a ton of brands, different categories, all kind of issues in terms of, not just PPC, but everything else. And we have a huge team that we need to face all these kind of issues and solve for clients on an everyday basis. So yeah, happy to be here to answer all of the questions that you guys may have.
All right, let's do this. Let's do it. So Abanoob says, hello, Kevin. How are you doing? It was probably before he realized I had John here as a guest. He says, glad to see you again after sadly missing last Tuesday's live stream. Well, glad that you're here this time. All right, so we're getting straight into the questions. All right, so before I get into the questions, we also have Viper1213 says, hello all. So thank you, Viper1213. Glad that you're here. Says that we're freezing. Was I freezing? I didn't see you freezing, John. Usually I see. So if anyone else is having issues, let us know. Viper1213 says, can I learn to tango with 2 left feet?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, gotcha. So I guess as long as you have the right systems and processes in place, you could do the tango. Just like if you're running a business, you got to have the right systems and processes in place. Yeah. All right. So here's how this works. We'll get into the questions. Every time I've done this, we always get to the end and it's like we start running out of time. And so if you want your question answered, the best time to ask it is now, not when everybody else starts joining us. And so as we start getting more questions, that also signals to the algorithm that we have more engagement. So what does the algorithm do? It shares it with more people. Amazon wants more sales in their algorithm. YouTube wants more engagement. So when the people engage, we get more people to join us, and then they start asking more questions. And then everyone else is like, well, I got a question too. And it just kind of snowballs. And so the best time to ask your question is now, because we're going to be more likely to get to it. So go ahead and ask your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. Muhib says hello, so hello as well. So all right, so let's get into the first question we have, which is if there's a keyword that is super relevant to my product. Now, super relevant, we're going to have to maybe have a discussion on what that means. It has the biggest search volume according to H10, Helium-10 of 2,000 searches a month, and I'm targeting an exact campaign, but it got too many clicks with no sales. Should I stop the keyword or just lower the bid since I've been bidding high to get to the first position in page 1? What are your thoughts, John?
Well, we're having a conversion issue here, okay? Because, well, as you're saying, Avanut, it's very relevant. Yeah, as Kevin was mentioning before, we need to, yeah, determine how did you get there in terms of the relevancy of that keyword. If it was because of the search volume, is because it's maybe the name of your product or the main purpose of your product. But yeah, if you're getting clicks, definitely it's relevant. Okay, you're not having a CTR, a click-through rate issue. You have a main image conveying exactly what that keyword or what that search term is, what people are looking for. But then the thing is that when they are getting into your listing, probably you're not conveying exactly, or you're not convincing people to buy your product. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is that you will need to solve first your conversion issue, understand what is well, the buyer intent for that keyword. Okay, right now, especially where we are in these times with AI and all the shifts that Amazon is taking in terms of AI, more than ever, we are focusing on the buyer intent. Okay, so yeah, one thing that you can do is understand what is the type of customer avatar that you want your product to be, bought from, and then from there, understanding if your listing it's conveying that that information to your customers. Now, answering your question, what should you do if you should lower the bid or pause at that specific target or campaign? Yes, I would, try first lowering the bid, all right? But if you don't fix your conversion issue, it doesn't matter whatever you do, you're not going to get the sales.
Yeah, I agree with everything John just said there. At the end of the day, you got to look at you have a conversion problem. You're getting the clicks, so that's good as long as they're the right type of people who are wanting to buy your type of product. The one thing I would add is I love the example of markers. So like if you go on Amazon and you search markers, you get a lot of craft markers, Crayola markers for school, stuff like that. So if you're selling, let's say, dry erase markers, you really have to get to dry erase markers, maybe even color for dry erase markers or whatever, if you're selling like a set of green dry erase markers. Because I hear this a lot with folks where they say, oh, this is the relevant keyword, which, yeah, if you're selling dry erase markers, markers is relevant. But are there products like yours on that keyword? Or is it like you start getting to something more specific and then, you got to add like 2 or 3 words to get to a medium tail keyword before, your product is truly relevant? Because otherwise you just get like a lot of people like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, wait, it's not what I want. I don't need a dry erase marker. I need markers for adult coloring books or something like that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would look into your image tag. Depending on your type of product, maybe you need some videos there to explain, how to apply, what are the use cases for your type of product. People, and especially nowadays, they want to see real people using the real product. More UGC, user-generated content than those produce edit videos. Yeah, I'm happy people using your product. Where is the demographics of your product? Who are you pointing to for them to buy your product? So when you make your product relatable to your customers, to your audience. Right now we are in this audience kind of a vibe, with Amazon Marketing Cloud, DSP, AI, internally talking about Amazon, everything is about the audiences. So make sure that your listing, because you're ready, that's where you're losing your customers, that your listing, it's, addressing, the solution, you're solving the problem for that specific audience.
Okay. Very good. Yes, it's all about making sure the audience understands this is for them. It solves their problem. So You could probably run a PICFU or product opinion test as well to get feedback from other people. Because oftentimes we get in our own head of like, but it's crystal clear what it is, but we think it's clear, but other people may not. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what the customer votes with their wallet. So Abanoob, good question. Email podcast@myamazonguy.com and we will get you a free $100 Mag School coupon. So just email podcast@myamazonguy.com. And I'm just going to give everybody a heads up. I will probably be rewarding participation. I won't necessarily reward every participation. Not everybody gets a participation trophy, but you never know. You never know. And I am fully empowering John to do the same if he feels like it as well.
Yeah, Abbott was the first one. He just won his free Mac course. So good job, man. Good job there.
All right, good deal. Should we give a Mag School course to the next question that I pull up?
Yeah, if it's an interesting question, yeah, I believe
Let's
so.
do it. All right, Viper1213. You can thank John. You get a free Mag School course. Just email podcast singular, no S on the end. Podcast with a T at myamazonguy.com. I feel like every time I say podcast, it sounds like it could also be podcasts. Like it just they sound, maybe it's my enunciation, but I feel like they sound singular and plural at the same time. So just want to make sure there's no S in podcast. And when you email podcast at myamazonguy.com. All right, and enough of that. All right, I was getting sales when my price was lowered. As soon as I raised my price, PPC conversions and sales dropped. I wasn't profitable at the lower price. How can I increase conversions? John, what say you?
Yeah, look, Viper, it depends on how much did you lower your price, all right, and how much did you revert to your price when you got out of that discount or sales price. Okay, because one thing, and there are a lot of nuances here, because for example, if you give let's say that you go for a best deal, or you just go for a sales price 50% off, 40% off, huge discount, and then you start getting a lot of sales velocity, and we usually do that for us to get sales velocity, ranking purposes, etc., etc. And then when your sales price ends, then you go back. Let's say that you were at $100, 40% discount. You're doing $60, and then you go back, to $100. So what's going to happen is that that spike that you had in sales, in BSR, and everything, probably you're going to lose it, and it's going to put you in a worse place than you were before doing the deal. Okay, so my recommendation here is always to, once you go out of a big discount, just revert the price, get back to your target price progressively, instead of jumping back from, I don't know, 40% discount again to your target price, because it will hurt your sales and you will go down in ranking again.
Got it. So kind of take a stair-step approach to get up to that price.
Yeah, definitely. I always prefer to do that, so we can, and at the same time, one thing that you want to know there, Viper and Kev, is to understand what is the sweet spot for your sales velocity, for the sales velocity that you want to sustain in time. All right, because you're already giving a huge discount, let's say 40%, 50% discount, I don't know, 30%. Then you want to take advantage of that, take leverage that, and start going progressive to your target price again, so you can see where that curve of sales starts decreasing, and that will give you a lot of information in terms of where is your sweet spot in terms of pricing for you to get that sales velocity that you need. All right, and maybe you need to think about your margins again. All right, and play with that.
Yeah, and at a certain point too, like another way to look at it is, with that sweet spot, like you might have lower sales velocity, but you make more money because your margins. So like there's an inflection point, because it sounds like right now he's getting lots of sales, but it's so low that he's actually losing money. So it's like where is that inflection point, and then how much above that inflection point where it's profitable. can you stay? And also, too, how long of a period of time are we talking about? Is it like 2 days, or has it been like 6 weeks? You know, because sometimes you got to give it a little bit of time as well. So yeah, that could be part of it too. Any other thoughts on that question?
No, yeah, basically that what you were mentioning is exactly what we want. As Amazon sellers, we want to know what is our sweet spot. We do all of our math, calculate profit margins, PPC spend, blah, blah, all that. But at the end of the day, we can have something in our minds, yeah, I want to sell this product for, I don't know, yeah, $49.99, $50. But then the market is telling you a different story, and it's telling you, look, I'm not buying your product for $49.99. I'm buying it for $39.99 because of different reasons. Other competitors, maybe you're having a problem in terms of your listing, okay, that it's not properly set. It's not conveying the right information for an audience that can buy this product at $49.99, but can buy at $39.99. So
Right.
you need to make your product look more classy or luxury, to put it in a way. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly. Positioning.
Position your product exactly a different way. So, there are a lot of things that you need to look into this. But yeah, the market is the one that is going to have the last word in terms of your pricing and your sales velocity.
Yes, very true. Awesome. All right. So if you have questions, drop them into the chat, whether you are on, I'm just looking at my cheat list there at the top. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we've got YouTube, we've got Twitch. We've got something else. I don't even know what it is. It's just like an icon. It's like a generic icon. So if you're on some other channel and you're like, you didn't mention my channel that I'm watching this on, drop it in the chat there. We generally get the questions from the chat on everywhere. So, all right. Tayab says, hi, I have a question. Actually, I want your opinion in the optimization of PPC campaigns, that what you suggest optimize manually or through bulk file. All right. What are your thoughts on just, tips for optimization? And if you, Tayab, if you have a more specific question, we'll dive into it.
Yeah. Look, Tayab, I'm a bulk file guy. Okay. Honestly, I hate the campaign manager. If I can do
clicks and...
yeah, it's crazy. It's not loading or whatever. It switches from one client to the other. I mean, tons of issues that it's a waste of time for me. So I use bulk file. But on the other hand, if you have one or two ASINs, maybe it doesn't make sense for you to go through all the, Excel. It's going to be more related to the type of user you are. Okay, if you're familiar with Excel, Google Sheets, etc., you like, working with those kinds of, formulas, whatever, and filters, yeah, you will do good with bulk files. I always use bulk files. It doesn't matter how many ASINs do I have. I can basically do everything there. But I know of PPC specialists that when they have a lower count of ASINs, they use the campaign manager, and it will depend also on the type of optimization that you want to make. I don't know. Let's say that, for example, you want to put some budget rules there, or you want to do some day parting. You need to go to the campaign manager. It's easier and more friendly than in the bulk file. So yeah, it will depend on the type of optimization you want to make. You want to harvest your search term report, man, forget about it. You need to download your search term report and do it, not on the campaign manager. So yeah, that's my take on that one.
Yeah, bulk files is the way to go. You can sort by like which keywords, you can filter and sort by like which keywords are the highest ACoS, which ones you're spending the most on, which are bringing the most sales. So you can do that, and very quickly. Like, just, I almost look at it agnostic of which campaign and which product. I'm just kind of looking at like, where are my bleeders? What are my winners? Where am I totally getting clicks but no sales? So
totally. You want to go through a bulk file very fast, Kev?
Let's do it. Do you want to pull one up? Do you need a minute to let it do its thing?
Let's do it. Let me put it here. I have a bulk file here. and let's take,
right.
yeah, let's use sponsor products. Let me share my screen here, for example.
Oh, you already have one ready. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have everything here. Share screen. I'm a little bit rusty with my. Yeah, I believe
Should
these
say like
should.
present or invite at the bottom. There you go.
Here it is. So we have a bulk file here. Who was asking this question? Was it
That was Tayab
Tayab? So yeah, Tayab.
at
Look, we have a
1201.
bulk file here. Yeah, generic bulk file, and let's go with sponsor product campaigns. Look at all the information that you have here. Tons of information, related to your campaigns. You can see here, for example, in the entity, if you filter here, the first row, you'll have your ad groups, your bidding adjustment. You can see right away your bidding strategies, for placements, super fast, campaign level, negations, etc., etc. So let's go to target level. So for example, if I, let me remove 1 second here, let me remove all of these and go select keyword and product targeting. Okay, so right away, when I select product targeting and keyword, I will be at my target level. It's important that in your column R, S, and T, you remove everything that it's paused, because you don't want to optimize or have information on targets that are paused already. Okay, so everything has to be enabled. Okay, and then after that, look, you have a lot of keywords here. All right, anything that it's not, any space that has no keywords, because it may be part of an auto campaign or it's a product targeting campaign. Okay, product targeting target, to put it in a way. So look, right away, we have everything here: impressions, click-through rate, this is our CTR, spend per target, sales, So let's say that you want to optimize, you have an ACoS target and you want to see what are those targets that are running over a specific, I don't know, ACoS. Let's see that your target ACoS is 20%. Okay, so you want to see where your targets, what targets are bleeding for you, are over, or they're over the limit of that 20% ACoS. You order by ACoS, you see right away that we have 3-4 targets here over that limit. And then you have your bids here, CPC, cost per click, ROAS, so basically here in the bulk file, you can see everything. All right, so right away, I can see here that, well, look at this target, has 57 orders at a 19% ACoS. And this is part of a close match tie from an auto campaign. Then you go here, close match, okay, close match, auto campaign. You look at the campaign name here, you copy, you go to your campaign manager, and then you can harvest your search terms inside of that specific campaign to see what are the search terms that are converting most of the orders for this auto campaign in close match. And then you can, make decisions like creating single keyword campaigns, isolating strategies of top of search, etc., etc., etc. You name it. So you can do that like in 10 minutes, honestly, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how agile you are with the bulk file. You can, create a full strategy and understand exactly what is happening if you're having a CTR issue, conversion issue, awareness issue, impressions. I mean, there's a lot that you can take out of these bulk files. So hope that answers your question and was helpful, guys, for you and the rest of you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing a quick rundown of bulk files, which there's a lot to do. So if you're not, there's a lot more to learn with bulk files. So we have other videos on this channel about bulk files, and just download one and just start playing around with it.
That's the best way, man. That's the best way. Getting your hands dirty.
Yes. And with ChatGPT, you can ask it for tips, so all kinds of things you could do, but definitely learn bulk files. All right. So Mahib says, how can we set up dynamic budget rules for Q4 or peak seasons so we can scale without overspending? What are your thoughts on budget rules?
Dynamic budget rules. Yeah, I like budget rules. First, you need to understand, of course, where you're talking about peak seasons. You need to understand also what are your peak times, okay, and days. And, the more data you can bring, the best. But yeah, definitely you can do that in the campaign manager. Look at your campaigns, set those budget rules based on, yeah, conversion or ACoS or So yeah, definitely I'm in favor of budget rules. I really like them. You just have to monitor them closely and make sure that they are giving the results that you're expecting. Okay, because they don't usually they don't work 100% of time. So there's not such a thing like a perfect
Mm.
campaign structure or a perfect setup.
Mhm.
Guys, PPC, it's a trial and gathering data way of doing things. Okay, you try this, you try that, you gather the data. Based on that, you reallocate, adjust here and there, and repeat the same process all over and over and over. So yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't worry too much about the dynamic rules. I would just, like John said, just it's a dynamic environment. You're going to spend more, so expect to spend more. Because it's busier in Q4, and it's really more busy at like once you get to Black Friday, Cyber Monday until like mid-December. So just at the end of the day, just don't run out of budget as long as you're profitable, which
Yeah,
you should be at that time.
and one thing here, Kev, that maybe not everyone is aware of is the CPC, okay, the cost per click. The
Mm.
cost per click, remember, guys, that everyone is going to be bidding higher for the same keywords, the same search terms that you've been bidding during the whole year, okay? So
Mhm.
that means that your CPCs are going to be higher than usual, right? So you have to be prepared. That's why we always talk about, yeah, increasing your budget.
Mhm.
The best way to do this is understanding what are your margins. Let's say you have a big catalog or a catalog with different items. You need to understand what's your max ACoS or your max or your profit margins for each of your ASINs, so you can plan or develop strategy at an ASIN level. Okay, understand from before what are your conversion rates for branded terms and non-branded terms. What is it that you want to do with Prime Day? Do you want it for ranking purposes? That is usually what we use these events, or do you have a huge profit margin and you're going to really make money on this? So it's really case dependent here, but you need to understand your data. And the good thing is that we can gather data, the historical data on last fall Prime Day, from last year, and you can do benchmarking, understand what your competitors did, if they did some discounts. uh, you know the more data
Mhm.
you gather, the best.
Awesome. A couple comments about bulk files. Viper 1213 says bulk files haunts my soul. Don't know if I can do it with PPC listings for sure. Different type of bulk files. I think the listing bulk files are harder and easier to break, and more likely to get errors that you can't figure out why, and Amazon probably doesn't know either. And usually the errors on, and you can tell me if you disagree, John, the errors that you get with like listing bulk files, like if you try to like re-upload your category listings report, you'll get errors, even though it's literally what you just pulled out of like their system, but somehow it's still an error. And it's just, and the errors don't always point to what the actual problem is. Sometimes they like cross the line. But if you can even remotely handle regular bulk files, PPC bulk files is easier.
Yeah, the best recommendation that I can give you here, Viper, it's always do a backup. Backup your PPC,
Mm-hmm.
everything that you have on your PPC. Do a full backup on your catalog. Make sure that you're doing these regular backups. We do it here at the agency. We do it for every client on a weekly basis. We have backups of everything. It would be absurd if I tell you that there hasn't been errors when we've upload some of the flat files for listings, for catalog, or for PPC management, but we have backups of everything. Every
Yeah.
time a specialist is going to do any change at a catalog level or PPC, they do a backup first, because if they mess it up, I don't know, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 0.65, and instead of putting you miss the point and you increase the bid $65 or $64. You realize you just revert that, you upload your backup, and you're good to go. Nothing happens. So always do a backup, and you are going to be in in a good way for you to test and try whatever you want to try.
Awesome. All right. Next up, Tayab says, thanks. I'll start it tomorrow, referring to the bulk files. So Tayab, we'll go ahead and give you a free $100 mag school course. Just email podcast@myamazonguy.com and we will get you hooked up. So,
and I believe Kev, sorry, I believe we have do we have a Mac course for bulk files?
I don't think we have a bulk file mag course, but we have a PPC course.
The PPC course, yeah, the PPC course use bulk files and all that. So take the PPC course, tie up, and you'll get the bulk file information. There you go.
There
Amazing.
you go. All right. Eric S asks, hello guys. Hello, Eric S. Should there be a different PPC strategy between Canada market and US market? If so, what is a good strategy?
Look, in terms of the strategy, it's more or less the same thing. What you need to understand here is that, of course, the Canada marketplace is going to be a smaller marketplace than the US. With that said, it will depend. We have brands that are very well positioned in Canada, and they're bigger in Canada than in the US. You know, very few, but but usually, let's say that you are selling a product already in the US marketplace and you want to launch in the Canadian marketplace, it's going to be, you just have to scale everything down, and you will have different data. The Canadian buyer will have different behaviors than the US buyer. Okay, you have to understand that, and you will probably have to do adapt some things in terms of your listing. Besides that, remember that labeling will have to change. You need everything in French and English, and there are some compliance things that you will need to go through. But talking strictly about PPC, okay, you just have to understand the data and start scaling down whatever you're doing in the US and see if it's working. All right, but I will start with lower bids and see what's the basically data telling me.
Yeah, and one of the things with bids is just the way the Canadian dollar translates to the US dollar. That $1 US is like $1.30-ish. I don't remember exactly, Canadian. So, for example, if you have $1 bid in the US and you just say, I'm going to take that dollar bid in Canada, that's effectively like a 70-cent bid in the US. So it's like automatically a little bit lower to make sure your prices are higher. The nice thing about Canada is that the words people use to describe things are very similar to the US, as opposed to like in the UK. Their words are different, I mean, they're speaking the same language, but it's definitely, different words. So your keywords shouldn't be that different, but just look and see if there are other words that seem to be used. Because like, for example, the words people use to describe things here in the South where I live is different than maybe what they describe in the Midwest. And so, but that kind of comes out in the wash in the US, but Canada's, its own thing. So make sure you have words that Canadians use to describe the product if they're different. In most cases, they probably won't be that different.
Yeah. And always for each marketplace, you have to do a competitor research. Guys, just put the search terms that are more relevant to your keywords, take the first 10 competitors, taking away everyone that it's advertising filter, just for organic placements, and take your top 10 competitors, 15 competitors, and, go to Hill Intent, Jungle Scout, Data Dive, any of those tools, and we'll give you the keywords based on search volume, and priority hierarchy that, for that marketplace are working. So you have to build your own master keyword list for each of the marketplaces, and taking, again, what I was explaining at the beginning, organize your keywords by buyer intent. So right now you can be more on the trend, on that wave, surf that wave of buyer intent that Amazon is working on.
Awesome. All right. Eric, if you'd like, or I'll ask John, should we hook up Eric?
Yeah, it was a really good question. It was
All
a
right.
good question.
Yes,
Yeah,
very good
yeah,
question.
let's do it.
All right. So podcast at myamazonguy.com. Just let them know that John promised you a free mag school course valued at $100. So that way, if Steven finds out we're giving away too much stuff, John's the one that gets in trouble, not me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
Steven highly encourages that we give away, because we are a what company that happens to be an agency?
An education company.
Exactly. We're an
Yeah.
education company. So we're here to educate folks. All right. Good deal. All right. So Raya asks, I'm running Amazon ads, sponsored products, sponsored display, sponsored brands, and got 9,000 clicks in 10 days, spending about $4,000, but generating only $1,000 in sales. My ACoS is around 300%. My company is a box manufacturer in the US, so we can't reduce our price. Our competitors are importing box very cheap from China. What can I do to reduce ACoS?
Yeah. Look, let's put it in a way. You have a good problem, okay? Because you're getting 9,000 people in 10 days to your listings. That's crazy. I mean, that's amazing. That's great, in my opinion. I don't
That's
know
like
how.
50 cents a click.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So you're already very relevant to most of the search terms that people are looking for that specific niche. Okay, so you're in a super good spot. You're having, like we were talking at the beginning for one of the viewers, you're having a conversion issue. Okay, you're talking about the price. I may infer that you are at a higher price tier than your Chinese competitors. That happens. Well, basically, what you have to do is you don't have to because guys, we tend to think that we need to lower prices to be more competitive. Okay, and that's not the case if you have a better product. Okay, you don't want to be compared to cheaper, copycats. All right, you want to be at a higher price tier, but you have to convey to your listing what are the main difference, why they should buy your product instead of the Chinese. It's a box manufacturer instead of the Chinese boxes. I mean, yeah, maybe durability, materials, yeah, I don't know, all that. And you need to make sure, because you're already getting people to your listings, so you need to make sure that inside of your listing you're highlighting in this order. First, what is the added value of your product? Okay, that's the first thing that I need to see through my image tag, through my title, through my bullet points. Then after the added value or the benefits, okay, what are the features, okay, that are going to make me different from those cheap copies? All right. And then lifestyle images. What are the use cases? Okay. I don't know, warehouses. What's your customer avatar? So once you have all that information, all right, then you're going to put that into your listing and you will see how your conversion will start increasing progressively. And gather data, repeat the process. Gather data, adjust, repeat the process.
Yeah. And I totally agree that there's a conversion problem here, and then there also could be a targeting problem. Like, if they're spending a decent amount of money, and maybe they're just still getting started. So, what are some bleeders you can get rid of, or at least lower the bid drastically until you figure out the conversion issue? What is and we don't know the breakdown of sponsored products, sponsored display, sponsored brands. What, in your opinion, is a good breakdown between the three?
Look, that will depend a lot on the goals, all right? On the goals. Where are we on our journey? Are we just launching our brand? Do we have plans of making that brand a big deal, like in the e-commerce space, outside of Amazon? It's just a white label that we are bringing from China and we don't care about the brand, etc., etc., etc. Okay, usually I like 90 95.5. If I want to create more awareness, top of the funnel, I will give more weight to my sponsor brand. Probably if I want to be more aggressive with my competitors, then I will give more weight to my sponsor display campaigns. So honestly, it will depend on the goals. Okay, if we're just launching, I will focus on sponsored products,
Hmm.
mostly 98% probably, to start with. Yeah, but honestly, I don't have a fix, percentage for each. Definitely our weight, most of the weight is going to be on sponsored products, but yeah, that will depend on the goals of each brand.
Okay.
What are your
And
thoughts?
well, I think what you should do is pick an ASIN that seems to be getting a lot of traffic and it's not performing. And our team could take a look at it for you for free and record a video of things that you can do to improve that. And anyone can do that. It's not just one person here. Anyone can do this. Go to myamazonguy.com/ASIN, which you see right down there. And we will hook you up with a free listing audit. And it's pretty comprehensive. They're going to record a screenshot presentation, go over some of the keywords that you're showing up for, things you can do to improve your listing, and definitely recommend you take us up on that. And that service costs how much, John?
That's for free, I believe.
It's 100% free. Yes.
There you go. There you go.
No
Oh my
strings
God.
attached. We might say, hey, do you want to hop on a call and see if we can help you further? But there's no obligation. So totally free to get started on that. So, all right. Next up, what do we have? All right. So we answered Raya's question. Viper 1213 says, how do I handle PPC when relaunching a product?
Relaunching a product. So one of the main things that we need to see here is for how long were you out of the market. Okay, if it's 1 week, couple of weeks, then maybe it's just kind of restarting everything, just maybe changing some of the campaigns to fix bids so we can push harder for to recover those rankings, spend a little bit more, push it towards our max ACoS, but that will depend on your strategy. And I know it's a cliche. It depends. But guys, when you put your questions, put also what are your goals. Do you want awareness and profitability are not, they don't tend to go on the same direction. Makes sense? So what are your goals? Do you want to be profitable? Do you want to create awareness? Do you want just to recover your BSR? So yeah, let's imagine that you want to recover. You had a BSR, you were ranking very good with your product, you ran out of stock, I don't know, for 1 month, 2 months, and then you're back in stock and you want to, let's say, relaunch a product. Okay, then it's very important. I always love to do a brand new competitor research. All right, that means that, yeah, even if I know who are my competitors, I want to see what are the keywords that are trending right now. Okay, and go to that master keyword list and see if I am targeting all of those targets that are trending now in search volume, sales, etc., etc., etc. Once we do that, then we use those targets, those new targets, and of course, what was working before, we'll use it again to see if it sticks again. Okay, that's my take here.
Yeah, you just got to keep trying and see what happens. All right. Actually, Raya asked a pretty good question earlier, right?
Yeah. That was a 9,000 clicks question, I believe. Yeah.
What should we do about that?
Very cheaper from China.
No. This is the same question. What should we do?
Oh yeah. Because she was asking how to reduce ACoS, and yeah, we never talked about it. Look, Raya, what I would do in this case, it's to reallocate my budget. Okay, we usually tend to tell Amazon there are a couple of things here. Search term report for me is one of the best ways to understand my wasted spend. All right, we tend to to talk about wasted spend with spend greater than 0, no orders. But what happens when we have 1, 2, or 3 orders, especially 1 and 2, but we have an ACoS of 200 and 300%? That I believe may be your case. So that's also waste spent. Where are you going to understand exactly how much are you spending for those search terms in your search term report, especially those search terms that have 1 order or that have no orders, but your span is 0.60, 0.75. But when you look into your search term report, it's what we call the dead by 1,000 clicks. You have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 search terms spending 0.40, 0.60, 0. And it turns out that you're not converting and you're wasting, I don't know, thousands of dollars per month. So go to your search term report, understand what are the search terms that are not converting, and start creating negations. Negations, exact, inexact match, and in phrase match. All right. Then why I'm saying this, it's because we cannot tell Amazon only what are the search terms that we want to be shown for, but we also need to tell Amazon what are the search terms that we don't want to be shown for. So if you want to be very precise with your budget, you're having you're bleeding all over the place, you need to be more precise with your wasted spend, reallocate to the good converting targets, and at the same time be very precise with your negations and tell Amazon, I want you to show me for this search term, for this keyword, but I don't want you to show me for all of these others. All right. So yeah, that would be my take here, and that will decrease your ACoS very fast.
Okay. Should we hook Raya up with anything?
Yeah, Raya deserves it. Raya
All right.
deserves
So
that.
John's twisting my arm here. Like it hurts. He's twisting it so bad.
Steven won't invite me
course.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're welcome back. $100 mag school course for Raya. Just email podcast@myamazonguy.com and just say John promised you a free mag school course. Kevin was going to be cheap, but John hooked you up. So, all right.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Then Eric asks, also Amazon seems to be integrating seller board. Do either of you have experience with seller board? If so, do you trust the reporting around PPC and other metrics? So I'll start this one. Now, full disclosure, we've worked with seller board as a partner on some things. I don't know that Amazon is pushing towards seller board in any way. Maybe there was an ad or something, or they were recently featured in something. The thing I will say is Amazon is agnostic about other tools. Just as Amazon does not care who gets the sale as a seller, Amazon doesn't care who shows the sellers the data as long as it helps them get more sales. And so I don't think Amazon cares. Now, like any tool, as long as it's set up properly and you got the right data coming in, it can be good. And I know a lot of people that rave about seller board, but you have to make sure it's set up properly. Make sure you watch any tool, especially seller board is more for like profitability. Anything, especially with profitability, if you have the wrong numbers in there, you get garbage in, garbage out. Any thoughts you have?
Yeah, I mean, it's like any other third-party tool. You need to understand that the most reliable source of data is going to be always Seller Central. And even in Seller Central, you will have some discrepancies here and there. Okay, there is what we call the loop, the data loop, all right, that has lacks in different departments. I mean, for PPC, you will not get the full data until 48 hours, sometimes more. I mean, we've arrived on a Monday and we have no PPC data from the weekend, for example. So I mean, and that happens inside of the campaign manager. So you need to make sure we use a lot of third-party apps here, and you need to make sure that you are always comparing the data. You have a lot of now in the Amazon Accelerate. They talked a lot about these new tools, the profitability dashboard. There's a lot coming and already working in your Seller Central dashboard in terms of profitability, SKU economic reports. Now you can put your Meta, Google, everything. You can put it there, and pull the profitability information from there. So, I will always go through Seller Central. And of course, if especially the user interface or experience, customer experience is better with third-party tool, you can use it for reporting purposes, but always make sure that you're comparing data.
Yeah, definitely make sure you're comparing data. And always, I think, look at all data as directional and not like as gospel. It should not be, no third-party tool should be your system of record. Other than maybe QuickBooks or Xero. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're not going to give your accountant at the end of the year a report from any tool and say, hey, this is my sales numbers. Like, you can't approach them that way, but they can help you make decisions as to how profitable this product is versus that product, as long as they're all set up properly. All right. Next up, Viber 1213 says, I have a product that did well last year, but since main image changes, I lost the ability to add graphics to the product, which has killed my click-through rate. I see other sellers without the graphics do good. Tips?
Am I understanding correctly? Did you get suppress? Or
Yeah,
was
kind of
just
curious
yeah Viper, if you can explain further, if you got suppressed once you change your main image, or you just change your main image and you saw the decrease, or in your CTR. I see other sellers without the graphic. That's where I'm confused. So let's address both.
Yeah, is it just that the main image, like, did someone else get attribution of your listing to put other, listing images? Is this your brand product, or are you selling this wholesale? That could also help us to diagnose it.
Yeah. If you can be more specific, then we can, because if you basically lost the contribution, then that's a different approach. All right. But yeah, guys, in terms of the CTR and main image, we always need to A/B test everything, A/B test everything, because I can tell you by heart that we have the most experienced graphic designers in the Amazon ecosystem here at the agency. And even though we always A/B test everything, so we are 100% sure that it's the data telling us if it's the right image or not. I wanted to update my main image, make it bigger, but when I did it, suppress the image because it no longer accepted the graphics that were on it. I had to remove the graphics, so I'm not suppressed. Yes, Amazon. Okay, yes, my main product, I just had musical notes on my product to show that it had music, and now I can no longer do that.
I wonder if these are like musical notes, like floating out of, like, if it's a saxophone,
Floating.
like as it blows,
Yeah,
noise
that's what I imagine too. So look, yeah, Amazon, it's becoming more strict, and remember that every time you make any change on your listing, you are telling the algorithm to scrape from A to Z your listing, okay, and then they will review it and see if you're compliant or not. With that said, that's going to affect your main image. You should have a white background, main image that should be 1600 by 2000, so it can be compliant also with the mobile version. It used to be 2000 by 2000, and so it goes. A lot of things related to the main image. You want to scale it as much as possible, but not to bleed, towards the edges. All right. At the same time, you cannot have floating elements, or you shouldn't. I know that there are some main images from competitors, especially, that may be, going away with this, but you shouldn't have floating elements. So what is it that you can do? If your product comes inside of a box or a package, you can put the package aside your product, and on the package, you can then put the notes and any, top keyword that you want to be ranked for. Remember that right now AI, it's also going to look at the demographics that you have on your images, at your keywords that you have on your images for ranking purposes. So it's important.
Yeah, and sometimes people get a little nervous when we talk about, like, the putting anything on packaging that's not going to show up I love this example that I'm about to show now because Amazon has never let me down. I haven't looked for it. I just put in the keyword real quick. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So we are going to look at Amazon for the keyword toothpaste. And I always bring this one up because Amazon always does this. And it's a product I've personally bought. So let's see if it's there. Oh, there it is. This one here. It fluctuates, but it's got functionally 5 stars because 4.8 stars. So it shows up as 5 for 63, almost 64,000 reviews. And this main image just says pack of 6. Like they really want you to know. That clearly looks like it was poorly photoshopped or made in Canva.
Yeah.
And it's currently unavailable. That's why it's not showing up there. But I can tell you, because I've looked at this one before many times, it's generally sold by Amazon. It's first party. Amazon's the one selling this. Now, does it arrive in a box like that? No. And I can attest to the fact that the images that people take, it just comes shrink wrapped. It's 6 boxes of toothpaste shrink wrapped together. It doesn't come in what looks like a moving box with pack of 6. And I can tell you, and I've looked at this before, the reviews where people are negative, they're unhappy, is more to do with like it was crushed or was missing a box or some other weird thing. It wasn't, oh my gosh, it was all just shrink wrapped. It didn't come with a big Colgate box that said pack of 6 on the side. They don't care. And so as long as you're helping the customer make a good decision, I think that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example. I raise my case.
All right. So I think we have time for one more question. Would you rather talk about budgets for Prime Day or bids, which was a follow-up question to something someone else had? I won't tell you which one it was. So tell me which one you'd rather take.
Let's
go
budgets? Budgets for Prime Day. We have Prime Day 7 and 8 of October. Yeah.
All right.
Viper, here you are. Max policies to triple the budget for Prime Day, right? Any other things to do? Look, let me start with the first one. 2x, 3x, 4x the budget for Prime Day. It's kind of a way to put it. It's kind of too generic, in my opinion. Okay, what I like to do here, because you cannot treat all of your products in your catalog the same way. All right. There are products, Viper, that even if you increase your budget 3, 4, 5, 6 times, it's not going to give any results. All right. There are other products that, yes, it will. So you need to understand what are your margins, what are your goals for the Prime event. All right. Do you want to rank, to use this event for ranking purposes? You want to use this event for profitability, for getting more sales, etc., etc. Once you understand that, you need to let the story. What I like to use is historical data. If you have that, probably you will. Okay, and understand what was the behavior, okay, of your CPC, sales velocity, etc., the type of promotion or discount that you gave, and how much did you increase your budgets. Okay, with all that information that you can get, make more data-driven decisions. All right, so I like to go at an ASIN level. Understand, okay, this is my unicorn product, my hero product. Okay, what is it that I need to do with this? First, reviews, ratings, how are we there? Then, do we have enough stock for us to be aggressive during Prime Day and increase the sales velocity and fulfill the demand? And then, what are our margins? Are we able to give enough discount for us to give to get the sales velocity, understanding that your CPCs will be higher? All that. And then with that said, you can more or less forecast what it's going to be your budget for this 2-day event. That it's not the same that for July that it was a 4-day event. Makes sense? So with all that said, then maybe it's 2x, maybe it's 3x, so it's not a set a rule that it's going to be 3x. It will be depending, once again, I know, guys, on your goals, your product, and your historical data.
Gotcha. Do you have time for one more question?
Yes. I love questions, man.
All right. So this one is more of a follow-up, which I think really helps us narrow down. Like it's staring me in the face what the issue is here with Raya, who had spent $4,000, only got $1,000 in sales.
Yes, sponsor products, $2,000, almost 950 clicks. So sponsor display, 1.2 clicks, $7,200 in sponsor display with $1,000 spent. That's amazing. That's amazing. So your product targeting, probably is what I can infer here is that your product targeting is giving great results. Okay, so yeah, I mean, focus on that. You're selling boxes. I believe it was your case.
Yeah.
You're manufacturing boxes. You're selling boxes. So probably you have some opportunities in B2B, business to business buyers. Okay. So look at your business to business information on your business report to see how many sales are you getting from B2B. Also, it's important to understand how many sales are you getting from your mobile versus desktop. Okay, and see if your listing, we were talking about a conversion issue. So are your viewers coming from mobile more than desktop? Are you fully optimized for the mobile version of your listing? Okay, and
Mhm.
then, well, you need to funnel your SD campaigns and understand what is it that it's working for you. Do you have more recurring buyers or new to brand customers? So are you retargeting last viewers, or viewers for the last 7, 30, 60, 90 days, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see what you're doing with sponsored display campaigns. If that's product targeting campaigns, you're stealing. Well, you're not converting. That's a different conversation, but you're
Yeah.
stealing already a lot from your competitors.
I would almost suggest, and this might be, we might have to arm wrestle over this one, but I almost suggest like turn off sponsored display until you figured out the conversion problem. Because I'm just thinking of like boxes. If someone's typing in like 20 by 16 by 16, you know, double walled cardboard box, that's completely different and they know exactly what they're looking for. So if you have that and it takes them to that listing, it's going to work. Whereas if you have like, hey, look at a picture of a box, and like, because we don't know these sponsored displays are these auto generated or are they creating creatives, like pictures of boxes, and like, well, what if they're just getting lost? And so, also like, what does your catalog look like? Like, do you have similar, products together in parentages where someone could easily say, oh, okay, 20 by 16, but I need 20 by 18 or whatever. And they can just find the size. That could be part of the problem too, because you might be sending traffic to the wrong listings. And with boxes, if you need a specific size, that's a big problem.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Look, we need to understand where is most of our traffic of those clicks coming from and going to. All right.
Yeah.
So we need to understand what are those sponsored display campaigns that are bringing that amount of traffic to your listings, and then just do the makeup that you need on your listings to convey the information based on that information. All right. So yeah, I will focus on that. And definitely, if you're not converting, you need to reallocate the budget. That will be, pausing targets, campaigns, or reallocating budget. Yeah, negations, etc. What we discussed before.
Yeah. I would say, what do you think? Like, at least shoot for an 8 to 10% conversion rate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because if you're getting 7,200 clicks, like that's a lot, and I have a feeling those aren't converting, which means people are arriving and then they feel lost. Like they're like, oh, that might be what I need. Oh, it's not. You know what I mean? Like you don't want curiosity clicks. You want intent clicks, especially as you're trying to figure out all this out. So, all right. Eric says, thank you, gentlemen, for your answers. It's our pleasure. It's been a pleasure having John here as my special guest. Join us at a future one, and we will be more than happy to answer more questions. Raya also thanked us for the advice. It's our pleasure. So everybody, thank you for joining us. And thanks again, John, and happy selling.
Guys, see you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks.